Hello, everybody. This is Randy Rankin.
And Brandon Luna.
And we are here with a brand new podcast called Kiefer for Prez.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, this is a podcast in regards to the new Kiefer Sutherland show called Designated Survivor.
But we're also going to throw in some 24 for good measure because we wanted to do a 24 podcast, but that ship's kind of sailed. The show's been on for a while, and the new one's coming up. But this will kind of allow us to talk about both of those shows in one
at the same time.
cohesive podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Kiefer's busy. He's executive producing both shows.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Interesting. Good
so
for Kiefer.
Designated Survivor. This is just we're going to talk about each episode in one episode of show here, and this is in reference to episode 1, which just aired recently.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think, man?
I liked it.
Yeah,
I'm in. It hooked me so far.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you know anything about my history from our other podcasts, I really don't like TV much, and I really don't like network TV.
Right.
I still don't consider Fox network TV.
Yeah.
If you've got Family Guy on your show, and The Simpsons on your network, I mean, you're not a major network.
I think this is ABC.
I know, that's what I'm saying. This is ABC. This is one of the big three.
Yeah, and there was talk now that this may actually save ABC because they haven't had a whole lot of hits lately.
Right.
And this is something that's actually doing pretty well for them.
It did real well. First episode did well. And
so
ratings were really high.
So hopefully we'll keep viewers. And, it's one of those, it's a political show. Mm-hmm. So just to kind of give you a rundown of the plot here.
What it is the State of the Union, everyone from cabinet on up is at the Capitol for the State of the Union.
Correct.
And they keep one cabinet member back just in case a catastrophe happens, and this person becomes the designated survivor who then becomes president.
Correct. So as the show plays out here, basically, Kiefer... the first scene of the show is this thing happening. They pull him out, designated survivor. He's watching the speech, and he's kind of giving his opinions. He's heard that stuff that he was, trying to have in the speech didn't make it. So he's not well looked upon in his job,
right?
But he's hopeful that things will change,
right?
And then this catastrophe happens. There's a big explosion, and
TV signal goes out.
Yep,
they're wondering what's going on.
Yep.
The Secret Service come in, haul his ass out.
Yep. And they're like, you are the guy now.
Yep. And the ironic thing that because then they backtrack a bit.
Yeah, you get the
day,
flashback. Yeah.
He's a Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. So basically he's HUD.
Yeah.
He's the head of HUD. And he got, not fired.
He got transferred.
Demoted to ambassador to Montreal or something like that.
And you get the sense that he's definitely not Jack Bauer in this. Mm-hmm. He is a normal guy just trying to make this job work. You kind of get the sense from his wife, who's played by Natasha
McElhone,
who was Californication and a bunch of other stuff. That he's just not the real aggressive guy. It's like she's like, well, you got to do this. You got to make these changes. These are things you need to make sure it happens because we just barely got to the point where we're comfortable here. And if you take this
our kids are in school,
they're liking this. We're finally getting to where things are kind of normal. And now we're going to have to switch gears because of this new job.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she says you need to step up and be a man. And unfortunately, he's like, well, I kind of already said I'd give him my decision tomorrow about this other job, and I'll commute.
Yes.
So he's kind of a pussy at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, he is.
You get the sense,
and he wears glasses.
Yeah.
Not that Brandon and I both wear glasses, but it does make him look a little dorky.
And they even mention later it's not presidential, so we'll get to that. But so that's the sense that you get is that he's getting basically demoted and he's kind of out. Mm-hmm. And but then this thing happens and they flash forward. And now he's he finds out what's going on. He's like, okay, we need to make some decisions, guys. He runs to the bathroom, and I loved this scene.
That was awesome.
He goes and throws up in the bathroom, and right next to him is Cal Penn saying, hey man,
can you believe this guy's president? He's a pussy.
This guy's he's a joke. He needs to step down. And then he steps out and sees that it's him. He's like, oh.
And he's like, yeah, I saw you this morning.
Right.
You were trying to get my stuff taken out of the speech. Do you really think I should step down? And he's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So at least he had the balls to say it to his face. But
he
goes,
yeah.
But in a kind of a Jack Bauer moment, he says, well, you got 42 minutes to write a speech that tells the rest of the country otherwise.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I like that. That was kind of cool.
So one of the things I liked about the show is it's very well paced, very well made. It didn't seem like they were cutting any corners, at least for the first episode. And I hope it stays that way. I hope they do have a good budget for the rest of the show. Mm-hmm. With these type of things, you never can tell. I mean, the ABC, especially NBC, those guys, they tend to kind of tuck tail once things, it's making money now, so we can cut some corners here and kind of cheese it down a little bit. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Right.
But you get the gist that he is going to really have to step up his game and make a lot of hard decisions. And I think at least by the end of the first episode, you get a real sense that he's at least capable of somewhat doing that.
Right.
You get also, they bring in some other characters in the side there. You got Maggie Q, who's kind of running around doing things on the outside, so you can see kind of what's going on.
I've never really liked, but I like her so far in this show.
But you also get a good sense that he is a family man, and he has a family that cares for him. You get a sense that his son is a little on edge and maybe doing some stupid things. Obviously, selling drugs at a bar or at a club when his dad was, when all this shit was happening. They tracked him down, and I love that too. When they get him in the car, he's like, "How'd you find me? He goes, "Oh, we reverse polarized. We did all this stuff." He's like, "No, we just tracked yourself."
Yeah, just tracked yourself on dumbass.
We knew
basically, he didn't say dumbass, but that's kind of the tone he said. Yeah, we just tracked yourself on dumbass. We're not very good at this, And
I got a feeling right off the bat that his son was going to be very anti his dad. Just that he's not in that with the family. But I did like that when they pulled the daughter in, he's got a young daughter, and she was very freaked out about everything. She's like, "Why are we here? What is this? What is this?" He's like, "This is our new house," and she's like, "I'm so scared. Do you think Dad's scared?" And he had, the forethought to say, "Dad's not scared of anything."
Which and the cool thing was that Kiefer could overhear this conversation, and they didn't know that. So you get a sense that while early on Kiefer's making breakfast and he's apparently a horrible cook, and he made a funny joke and his son didn't laugh because he used to laugh at that joke. He goes, "Yeah, I used to be 8,
right.
So I don't like it." But so they kind of created that sense. But then that scene alone told you that he's a good parent.
Yeah.
And while his kids might not be perfect, they do respect him.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah. And there is some skullduggery going on already in episode 1.
Yep.
You got the military guys wanting to basically attack Iran.
Iran, because Iran's moving their ships to, I can't remember that, Balmoose or something.
Yeah.
And it's to block the oil coming to America so that then they can raise the prices.
Yeah.
They're kind of taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, very much
and
so.
The military chief wants to bomb them right now.
Because he thinks that's an aggressive move, and, we need to strike while the iron's hot and do this.
Right.
And your first decision as a, president needs to be this because it's the right decision.
Right.
And he's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, guys. Let's, maybe I need to talk to this guy. He's going to be here in 20 minutes, and then we'll make a decision after that."
By this guy, you mean the Iranian ambassador.
Ambassador, yeah.
Right.
So.
And, he's like, we'll see how it goes, and we'll play from there, but I'm not going to start war on my first decision right from the get-go, which is understandable,
Yeah.
And you could tell, I like, Kiefer's a good actor. I mean, he's always been a great actor. And he can act without saying anything. Mm-hmm. And you could tell when they're talking about the situation, he has kind of a look of, holy shit, why am I here?
Yeah.
And then, but also thinking, holy shit, I have to do this right now. Mm-hmm. I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so it was a bold move for him to say to the head of the military, "No, we're not doing anything right now. Sorry, not doing it."
Yep. Which then in turn makes the military guy kind of pull another guy aside and go, "Hey, we need to overthrow this guy." Yeah, it's like, "Well, you're talking about treason." He's like, "Well, not if it's the right decision," that type of thing.
Yeah.
So you can see there's going to be some tension there between Kiefer and the military. Mm-hmm. I don't know how far that's going to go. We'll find out as the show progresses, but that's interesting. I kind of wish they had saved that for episode 2, episode 3. I think they tried to pack maybe a little bit too much into episode 1, just in the fact that they had the original situation, they had that bomb that they found, they had the military already not believing in him. Give it a couple episodes for that to unfold, I think.
I get it, but I think it's also the opening episode. They got to grab you as soon as they can grab you.
Yeah.
The shows nowadays, I mean, one of the reasons why I don't like TV is I'll get into a show and watch 3-4 episodes and then it's canceled.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, I wasted all this time watching this stupid show and it got canceled,
Right.
So they're trying to grab people right from the get-go, and I get that. And I do like the subplot. Well, I guess it's not a subplot. They're co-plots of the bomb. They're trying to figure out who did this, who blew up the Capitol during the State of the Union. And Maggie Q's very involved in it. And
they get out there and they find another bomb.
Fake. Well, it turns out to be fake. But, but that was a very high tense scene. And
it
was very cool.
Very much so, yeah.
And I watched it on DVR, so I didn't see commercials. So it just went from boom to boom.
Yeah.
But there was some tension there. But, she brings up a great point that, after 9/11,
there was all
boom,
kinds
they
of
came
chatter.
out came out and said, boom, we did this.
We did it. There's all kinds of chatter and all these different things
like,
going on.
there's no chatter. So
That means
the guy's like, well, that means they're finished. She's like, no, it means that
the opposite,
they haven't finished. This just started.
This is step one.
And that's when you find the bomb, and you're like, oh shit, it just started. So
I think that's what's going to carry the show. I don't know where it's going to go, and that's interesting to me. One of the things that I've noticed that's different between network television and Netflix. A lot of people, there's all these Netflix shows now and Amazon shows, and the way that they do it nowadays is you get basically all of it at once. Here's the whole season, and you can adjust it at one time. So a lot of people, do what they call binge watching, where you just binge watch the whole show and you're done. And with Netflix and Amazon, you can kind of slow burn a show. You can take the time. You don't necessarily have to grab them in the first 2 episodes because you're going to either watch it or you're not, and it's not ratings based like it is on network television. So I think had this been on, Netflix or Amazon or they might have stretched out that first episode and stretched out the story a little bit more. But because, like you said, it's on NBC or ABC, you have to catch them in that first episode. You have to get people interested enough that they're going to come back for
build
a
enough
episode.
tension, and they want to say what's happening next, what's going to happen, who
did
this?
Yeah,
I mean, right now you're like, who did it?
Exactly, we don't know.
Because Al Qaeda's denied it, ISIS has denied it, the Taliban's denied it. So
and I got a sense that the ambassador for Iran was pretty he's like, okay, this guy's maybe he's got something.
Yeah, because the ambassador of Iran shows a great scene. This is when Kiefer really balls up. And, he says, all making friendly with him. Good to see you. Blah blah blah. Oh, whatever we need from our country, we're here to help you. And he says, okay, well then move your ships.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He goes, move your ships.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. Come on.
He goes, I love his line. I'm the straightest shooter you will ever see in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And I'm telling you now that if you don't move your ships within 3 hours, the headlines tomorrow will not talk about what's happened here at our capital.
Yeah.
It's going to be the devastation that has happened to your capital. And it was
right.
like, awesome.
Right.
Great line.
Very
and
good
the guy
line.
backs up immediately. I will talk to my people.
Yep.
And,
which
cool.
is great. That was about as Bauer as he got in episode 1.
Exactly.
But it's one thing I noticed about Kiefer that I think he's trying to do, and we haven't seen him get really frustrated yet, but Kiefer does this thing when he gets frustrated, and he always did it as Jack Bauer, where he does this blinky thing, where if he gets really frustrated, he'll start blinking and kind of looking around, and you can see he's kind of thinking, but he's frustrated, and he hasn't done that yet. So I think he's really trying to create a different character here, trying to give a little more sense of stability, but also a little bit less aggressive than Jack Bauer. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting
because he doesn't have a gun. He's not out in the field. He's got to make the decisions from the top.
And he's going to have people do stuff for him. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
and I'm curious about the Kal Penn character.
Yeah,
of course he was a terrorist one season on 24.
right.
And of course he worked for Obama in the Obama administration. He didn't last very long. He quit. I can't remember why he quit.
I don't know.
He was upset with something. I don't know what. But he quit. And wasn't he in Harold and Kumar?
Yeah, he's Harold and Kumar. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He was Kumar. No, he was Harold.
That's why it's hard to. That's why it's hard to
see
buy him being serious.
Right.
But see, I'd seen him in 24 before I saw Harold and Kumar.
There you go.
And then I watched him. I'm like, oh, that's that dude from 24. He's being funny. I'm not liking this, but But then I've seen both Harold and Kumars, and they're hilarious.
First thing I saw him in was Van Wilder. He was hilarious in Van Wilder.
He was
Raj in Van Wilder.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he's a good actor, and you could tell when he was writing the speech that he was taking it seriously.
And he was actually telling people hey, shut up, I got to do this thing. It's let's So I think he's going to end up being
an ally for
Kiefer in the long run. I'm hoping that he will.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to see that he's a little more than people think he is on the surface. But can you imagine being in that situation though, where someone's in charge and we have no idea what this person ever did? There's going to have to be a whole lot of people coming in with information that you're going to have to make the country comfortable with this guy, because he's basically a non-elected official. It's the first.
Gerald Ford is our actually only never elected president.
Right.
Because he wasn't even vice president. Spiro Agnew resigns.
Yeah.
He took over Spiro Agnew. Then Nixon resigns. Now all of a sudden he's president.
Right.
That's the closest we've ever come in our country to this actually happening.
Right.
And look at Gerald Ford. He was made fun of relentlessly on Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
he was never taken seriously.
Correct.
So Kiefer's going to deal with that. They need to write that. Even when he makes good decisions, he still is going to have to be challenged on, dude, you were head of HUD.
Yeah, right.
And you got fired. And now you're the president. We're not buying what you're saying. So it's going to cause Kiefer, I'm hoping, to have some moments of saying, "Yeah, I'm the president."
Right.
Yeah,
And if this was an NBC show, they would have had an SNL little tie in there, probably, which would have been great. But unfortunately, it's not. So I don't know what does ABC have for late night.
I don't know. Is it Fallon? Oh, no, it's not Fallon. Is it Kimmel?
It might be Kimmel. So maybe they'll have Kimmel come in and make jokes about him. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, this Monday before the game or before the show, they showed a nice 5-minute trailer during Monday Night Football halftime, and Kiefer talked about it and stuff. It was kind of
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was cool. So they're promoting it on Monday Night Football, so that helps. You know.
Yeah.
But
so looking at the cast a little bit here, there's people we haven't seen yet, and I'm kind of intrigued by a couple of these. Virginia Madsen's here at some point.
Okay.
I didn't see her in episode 1. We've got.
Always liked her.
Yeah, she's good. She's good,
and she's hot.
and she is. Yeah, we've got some other people too that little. They've done little stuff here and there, and you'll recognize them when you see them, but they're not big actors. But right now, you're looking at a solid 8.3 on IMDb. We're looking at 7 episodes for season 1.
Okay.
Not a lot. So,
but
but
that
again,
could be the 7 that they're releasing.
yeah, exactly. So we're probably, like they do with most TV now, they'll get 7 episodes and then decide if they're going to bring it back or not, and then we'll get the second part of the season. And the
they're
season
probably,
will
they're
be
probably
14
filming
episodes.
season 8. That's probably the 7 they've filmed.
Yeah,
And then because even like 24, they only filmed like 4 to 5 episodes at a time.
right.
And then they take a break, and then they'd come back and do the
So we'll see.
episodes after
Hopefully,
that.
it'll
So
get
we'll
a full season. If not, we'll just switch gears to 24.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
the show progresses.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Because the new 24 is coming out, and
It
Kiefer
is.
has not ruled out coming back
yep.
completely.
But we'd still like to talk about old episodes of 24
Of
as well.
course,
So if
yeah.
you're a fan of Kiefer in general, Kiefer for Prez is all about the shows that he's been in. 24,
Oh,
Jack Bauer, Designated Survivor. Maybe even talk about Lost Boys
Lost
and whatnot in
Boys,
between stuff. Yeah.
Stand By Me.
Yep. Dark City, your favorite.
The thing I love about Kiefer is I love it when he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And, when we were growing up, he was just the asshole.
Oh, yeah.
He was
totally.
a prick in Stand By Me. He's a prick in Lost Boys.
He's a brick and flatliners,
Yeah.
too. Not fatliners. That'd be
Not Fatliners. That'd be a story about you, but
Yeah.
I'm joking.
ass. I was gonna say Kirstie Alley, but okay.
Okay,
throw me under the bus.
you and Kirstie Alley. Okay.
There you go. Ah, I
Yeah,
do
y'all
a
should
movie
be in a
thing.
show together.
There you go.
But I'm joking. But, if you think about it, he was an ass as Jack Bauer, but he was an ass in a good way.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope he becomes an ass in a good way in this one.
Right.
And
right.
he kind of has to go somewhere, You can't not like the president in a TV show. Unless it's a show where it's about a president who's
It's
an
an
ass.
asshole, yeah,
But
exactly, yeah.
this one is about a guy who is thrust into this situation that he's not prepared for,
Mm-hmm.
never sought.
Yep.
You get the feeling from his home life. He was happy.
Yeah. He was happy being the HUD guy.
His wife's a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
good-looking wife, good kids, nice house,
Right. Right.
making a cush living.
His wife's making money now, so everything's good. And then all of a sudden,
Everything's
boom.
Now all of a sudden,
Crazy shit.
I'm
yeah.
president of the freaking United States. And the funny thing is Kiefer's from Canada. It's hilarious. That was funny. He did make that line when they said, he goes, I'm ambassador to Montreal. Ooh, Canada. That's kind of funny. Kind of hilarious.
So yeah, so if you liked episode 1 of the show, definitely keep listening to us because we'll just give you little updates on stuff as the show progresses and our valued opinions of the show because people love
It's our
hearing
first
other people's
specific show,
opinions.
a specific podcast to a specific show.
Correct.
Which would be fun.
Yeah. So here's some trivia from IMDb, which we like to do. Premise of the series is similar to a plot of 2 of author Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan novels, Debt of Honor and Executive Orders. So, interesting. Not the most original idea in the world, but I thought the
No,
way that they
but it is.
did it was very well. Kiefer Sutherland originally wasn't interested in starring in another television series after his 8-season run on 24 and a limited series of 24 Live Another Day, but changed his mind after reading the script for the pilot and was blown away by how good it was. So that just speaks to, and the fact that he produced it at that point too, speaks to how much he liked it. So there will be a second collaboration between, this is the second collaboration between Cal Penn and Kiefer Sutherland since 24, of course. According to United States law, the only person who can become president if the president dies is the vice president. All other successions will be considered acting president. So, interesting.
Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland's character, Tom Kirkman, is Secretary of Housing and Urban Development when he became the designated survivor. The TNT drama The Last Ship, Mark Moss's character, Jeff, was also Secretary of Housing and Urban Development when he becomes the designated survivor in Season 2. Interesting.
It is.
That they picked
but I
the
think
same
that
position.
That trivia is wrong.
Okay.
If the president dies and then the vice president dies, the Speaker of the House becomes president, and they left that out. The Speaker of the House can become president.
Okay.
And that's how Gerald Ford, because he moved
Correct,
from Speaker of the
yeah,
House
correct.
to vice president to president.
Cal Penn, who plays the White House staffer in the show, was actually worked at the White House as a staffer in real life. In 2009, his character on House was killed off so that Penn could take a job as Associate Director of Obama's administration's White House Office of Public Engagement under his birth name, Kal Penn Modi. He took a leave from that job in 2010 to film A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, and returned to the White House after the filming ended in 2010 of November. He also worked for Obama's re-election campaign and spoke at the 2012 Democratic National Convention. Doesn't say why he left, but
No. Okay.
So,
But I remember when it happened, but I don't remember the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, we were very happy with the first episode.
Yes.
It was well-paced, great cast so far. Nobody's annoying yet. I always get scared when there's kids in the show, and you're like, oh, the kids are going to join this show.
Yeah.
But I think that everybody's well cast, and I think it's going the right direction. So we're really looking forward to episode 2. And check us out next week. We'll have episode 2 of Kiefer for Prez. You can find us right now on Spreaker. We're going to try and get on iTunes through things as we go. I usually have to have a couple episodes before you can put in for the iTunes. And we'll also be on YouTube right off the bat.
Yep.
All right.
No video on YouTube.
No
just
video.
audio.
Just
But,
audio.
you can download it to your MP3 player and listen to it there.
And eventually we'll have a some sort of Twitter or whatever if you want to do the tweet thing or whatever. We just haven't figured that out yet.
Yep, but we will.
We will.
But anyway,
But hey,
it's been great smoking with you.
no,
No, we don't say that.
That's a different show.
I just tease it. Anyway, Kiefer for Prez.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
We're going to have to figure out a way to exit this show.
Shut up. I was doing okay.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.